And we're live. Welcome to another Descript live stream. I do these every Friday. I have a business called Descript Mastery, and what I do is teach Descript. That's it. I have a course, I do tutoring, I create templates for people. I try to be as useful as possible with helping people learn Descript. And I'm not seeing the live stream visual, so let me know if you're able to see it. But I'm going to assume that it's going. Let me just refresh this real quick. Okay, so this is my website, descriptmastery.com. Okay. And this is where you can find all the resources I just mentioned, course, tutoring, and templates. And then under resources, I got a bunch of free stuff. So I have free downloadable Descript templates. All you need to do is put your email in there, and then it'll email you links to over 100 different Descript templates that I've made. There's podcast interview templates, there's YouTube intros and outros, there's all sorts of different stuff that will make your life easy. I have a free 7-day Descript email course, so you can, once again, just ask for your email, and then it'll give you a 7-day, 1 email per day with assigned lessons and then a project that you do throughout the course. And then there's a Squadcast checklist. So if you're creating remote interviews, you can get my Squadcast checklist. I've talked about that on these live streams before. And then tools, I forgot what I even have in tools right now. Oh, these are my recommended stuff. So like, what computer should you use for editing with Descript? What camera, what microphone, things like that. Software that I recommend, and books I recommend. And the last one is to just get Descript. If you don't have it yet, you can follow that link, and then that will give you, there's no special deal or anything. It just takes you to Descript's website. So that's it. But yeah, descriptmastery.com. Check it out for all your Descript needs. And please, as we go through this live stream today, drop your questions in the chat. That is the best way to do this. Otherwise, I got to just make up stuff to show. I don't come into these with a plan. So please, I see we got a couple of viewers on. Let me know what questions you have. You must be wondering something. Otherwise, you wouldn't be here. And then we can go from there. So let's see. I'm trying to think. There was a new version of Descript this week. It was super minor. It was because the big update was earlier in this month. And so they're doing more incremental updates probably for the next few weeks. And probably sometime in August, we'll probably get a few changes now that the big version, version 91 with Underlord has hit the market. They're probably getting some bugs, getting all that kind of stuff out of the way. So there'll probably be some updates coming up to work those out, to work out the kinks with the new version. And the Underlord's been doing great for me. I've had a lot of, it's definitely a huge upgrade. And I think the UI is way cleaner than before. So yeah, maybe I'll just talk about that until I get questions. So let's open up a video project. And here's what's different on the right side here. A lot of this stuff used to be on the top. The big one is that this is your project name right here, just currently untitled. But that used to be in the top left, along with the compositions. Now that's in the center. And then there was icons in the top with like the record button, the title button, what else was up there? Shapes, and so on. Now everything's consolidated over here on the right, which I think is way cleaner. And then all the AI stuff is under this thing called Underlord. And so you have your remove filler words, remove retakes, shorten word gaps, add chapters, all that stuff that we have under the AI Underlord. Before it was kind of clunky where all that was. So, oh, thank you for the question. I'll get to that in 1 second. Yeah, before there was like a AI actions button and it was kind of clunky how to use it all, but now it's just all under Underlord. So the question in the chat is, I'll be using Descript 4 times per year. I think that is. The YouTube studio has a heart over it, so it's kind of hard for me to see, but I'm assuming you're saying 4 times per year. what plan sounds best. How of those 4 times that you use it, it depends on how long the projects that you're going to be making are and what they are. So let me just let's go straight to the source. And if it's 4 times per year on like once a quarter, you're making a video, then even if it's like a really long video, what you could do is on those 4 months out of the year, just switch to monthly pricing, buy the biggest one. And then I guess the biggest one now is business, actually. And by the way, thank you for bringing this up, because this is all changing on July 2nd. If it hasn't already changed, let me see. I'll look at this deeper in a second. So what you could do is, let's say you only use it once a quarter out of every year, and you're going to maximize it. You're making long videos and you need the full capabilities. You could just pay for the monthly subscription 4 different months out of the year and then cancel it when you're done. And then if you don't need, if your project's less than 10 hours and the transcription is important to you, then this might be all you need is Creator. That gives you the 10 hours. The other limitation here though would be the AI speaker. So if you use the text to speech feature, which is just what it sounds like, you type in some text, it'll read it in your AI voice that you train it on, your own voice. The vocabulary is limited to 1,000 common words under the Creator plan. With Pro, you get unlimited. So if you're gonna be using that, that's a consideration. If you're not, and your video is under 10 hours, Creator's probably adequate. Let's see, what else? If your 4 videos per year are only less than an hour, then free might be adequate. The biggest limitation with free, sorry, I lost my train of thought with another question coming in. The biggest limitation is you get 1 video per month, and it's 1 video watermark free. That is, you can export more, but they'll have watermarks on it, the Descript logo. But then everything is limited to 720p. So if the video quality isn't super important, then maybe that's good for you. Maybe you're doing audio only, then you could get away with the free plan. But to export at anything above 720 up to 4K, you will need Creator or Pro. So yeah, it really depends on what you're doing. If you want to give me more context, I could give you more tailored advice on that. And the question in the chat is how many words you get with the educator plan. I'm not familiar with the educator plan. Is that something different, or the plans are Creator, Pro, and Business? If you're on something else custom that I'm not aware of, that not saying it doesn't exist, but I haven't heard of it. So earlier this month, Descript sent out an email to existing users that the plans are changing on July 2nd, I believe it is, which is 4 or 5 days from now. And, okay, discounted plan for teachers. Yeah, I wasn't aware of that. So, here it is. Yeah, do you offer special rates? I'm assuming it might be, I'm not even going to speculate because I don't know. Honestly, I don't know about that. Did you, I'm assuming you don't have it yet. Do you have any more information? Like, is it a percentage discount, or is it like the Creator plan, but 50% cheaper or something? If they gave you some sort of other details, then I could help you from there. I'm assuming it's probably one of these plans where it's either the Creator or Pro at a discounted rate. That's my guess. So anyways, the July 2nd, the pricing is changing. They're getting more restrictive, and they've already gotten more restrictive. So right now, the Creator plan, you get 20 uses of the AI suite, which includes the filler word removal, studio sound, draft social post, create clips, and more. And then with Pro, you get unlimited. And then with business, you get unlimited access to full professional AI suite, including translate captions with correction. So that's a new thing, the translating captions with correction as of version 91. So if that's something you're going to be doing a lot, like you're going to be making videos not only in your native language, but you're going to translate it to a bunch of other languages, that could be useful for you. And then also, I believe the business plan, and this is new, by the way, the business plan is new. So there's 40 hours per month of transcription time with the business plan. The cloud storage is a big one because I'm currently on the pro plan. I've been on the pro plan for 2 or 3 years now, but I feel like I'm going to hit my 1 terabyte limit soon. So with the pro plan, you get 1 terabyte of cloud storage. And with the business plan, you get 5 terabytes, which is incredible. That's tons and tons and tons of video. Of course, if you are a business and you're doing professional client work, maybe you're managing dozens of podcasts, that might not be all that much for you. You could still fill that up quickly. But for me, my little business, editing for a few clients, I haven't hit 1 terabyte yet. When you finish a project, I'm sorry, the YouTube, I see your question in the chat, but the YouTube studio puts a heart right in the bottom right corner, so it's covering up the word. So when you finish a project, I can't see the next word, do you archive? There it is. What and how do you archive? Okay. I see what you're saying. So you're asking, what and how do you archive? Are you asking about like organizing my project or organizing my files? Like I could show you this. My inner files are super public at this point. I've shown these on videos. So when I have a lot of different things in here broken down by different projects. So I have like archives, which is where I throw everything that I'm probably not going to touch again. So that's kind of like my done folder. Don't need it anymore. And then I have 2024 personal projects. So that's like things that are going to go on my personal YouTube channel, not my Descript Mastery YouTube channel or things like that. The Descript course is just what it sounds like. That's where I put all my course videos, and I have like the course version 2, course version 3, which is the latest one that I just released earlier this month, course version 1, there's the first one. And then so kind of broken down like that. What else here? My YouTube broken down by different channels I have here. So I have like my Descript channel, of course, a software review channel. I've got different things. And then, yeah, so it's personal to you, all the different projects that you have going on. Hopefully that helps. The other one, I guess, is like, here's a good one. Here's probably my most organized one that's easiest to understand. My podcast, I've been making my podcast with Descript since 2022. So I have a folder for each year. And then I just have all the steps or all the projects for that year inside of there. And I could further break it down by month. So I could have like all the podcasts from January, all the podcasts from February, and so on. But for the sake of this, I don't do more than 100 episodes a year. So this is adequate for what I do. Hopefully that kind of helps. It's kind of scattered, could be better, but whatever works for your system and the type of projects you're making. Yeah. Any other questions? Yeah, so I'm trying to remember the email that Descript sent out this month. Let me see if I can find it. I might have deleted it, but okay, good. Sorry, I'm gonna just look through my email here to see if I can find what they sent. Basically, if you're already a paying member, the important thing to know is like your plan's not going to change. So being on the Pro plan, they said it's going to now be called Pro Legacy, and the names are changing. So what is currently the Pro plan will now become the Creator plan, and the Creator plan, the mid-tier plan, will be called Hobbyist. And I'm not finding the email. Let me look by sender, Descript. I don't think they said anything about pricing, but the main thing is that the Descript the AI features are going to get more restrictive in certain ways. So I can't find it. Sorry, I'm not going to waste any more time on that. So yeah, that's it. Let me know if you have any more questions about the pricing, and we can go into it. I always recommend like start with the smallest thing you can get away with. Maybe that's Creator on the monthly. And then as you figure out you're going to be using Descript a lot, or you start hitting your limits, bump up to the Pro monthly. And then once you know you're committed to Descript, bump up to the annual, and start small and grow as you go. That's pretty, I think, wise advice. If I do say so myself. If I can call my own advice wise. And here's, in lieu of any other questions, I'm going to just start talking about templates. So I recently completely overhauled the free templates that I have on my site. So again, if you go to Descript Mastery, resources, and then Descript templates, you can download. Thanks for joining. Have a good one. So yeah, you can download some Descript templates by just filling out your email there. And then you'll get access to some of these public templates that I've created. Like there's this titles one. And nope, that's not a good one to show. YouTube intros, here's one. So inside of here, there's like 10 or 12 different templates, and you could use these as, like the name implies, YouTube intros. And they have in your project, when you apply this, you would just change this to whatever your video topic is, and then you could have a background, and these all have different music with them. And so they just have like waterfall, money, etc. And then whatever the topic of your YouTube channel is, you could use one of these as appropriate. So question is, how do I do the mouse highlighter? So that's actually a third-party app I have called, where is it? Screen Cursor. And it looks like this. This is all it is. All you can do is just change the size of it and the color. And then, so you got a left click color and a right click color, and then the width of the circle all the way to like super full, like that. I usually keep it about there. You can also draw with this. So if you hit on a Mac keyboard Option D, then you can like annotate, which is cool. Like leave an arrow, stuff like that. And this app was like $3 on the Apple Mac Store. So pretty cheap, pretty simple. And I always turn it on for demonstrating stuff. Head around it. And been working my way through content. Yeah, thank you. Appreciate that. Welcome to Descript. Welcome to the channel. If you're on Windows, there's a ton of options. Like the one I use isn't by any means the only one for the screen cursor. If you go to Google search, just type in Windows screen, or what would it be, like cursor annotation or something like that, you'll probably find 15 different apps there's probably some free ones even. So yeah. And then if you're recording with Descript, I can just show this real quick. If you're in a project, Yeah, it's good. It's simple. It just does what it needs to. If I go to video project and I go to record and you go to settings right here, there are, no, I'm on the web app, so it's not going to be there actually. Let me switch over to the desktop app. If you don't know, Descript has 2 versions. You can have it on the desktop or on the web browser. I was on the web browser. I just switched over to the desktop. The desktop has a few features that the browser does not. And one of them, as I just found out, is if I go to record and then I go to the settings button right there, there's this thing that says highlight clicks when recording. And that's going to create that circle around your clicks while Descript is recording. But as we just found out, that's only in the desktop app, not on the browser version. So try that. Yeah, thank you. Appreciate it, Ray. Thanks for joining and thanks for your questions. So the question in the chat is, I'm struggling with intros and outros. Would you be able to show how to do them as I'm struggling? I did zoom in and out today following your video. So are you referring to the video I did this week with the YouTube intros? Like I'll pull it up real quick. The one where I was showing different YouTubers. Here it is. So I made this video. The first YouTube intro I'm going to be looking at is from, which is, oh, and hang on, let me close my Descript recording thing, get that out of the way. So, zoom in and out. Oh, okay. Well, first of all, you could take a look at this and kind of get ideas for intros and outros and what I kind of think about them. The gist of, there was only one intro on this video that I liked. It was the one that's Girl with the Dogs is the channel. Because my general thought on intros is you shouldn't have a canned intro. Like people are just gonna drop away. Awesome. Thanks for watching it. And so what I would say is have like your logo maybe. Maybe that's all you have that just pops into the screen, or a title. Like I've been using a little title that just has the name of the video that pops in. Concerning zooms in and out though, I think what you're asking is just about like, let me just see if I can find a project here. Okay, here's the intro I did for this YouTube channel actually. If you don't know, on your YouTube channel, you can have a little trailer that plays for people who aren't subscribed to you. So I always do that. I have a 40-second one here, and I update it every few months. But let me just duplicate this. And then if I wanted to, like right at the beginning, start off with a zoom, what I could do is, and stop me if there's something more specific you want to go into, but I think what you're asking is about just how to create zooms. And if that's the case, then with the layer selected, you can hit animation, custom, and then what happens is you get these 2 keyframes. And so you have your starting keyframe and your ending keyframe, and then you can just bring them closer together to make it shorter. And then whatever happens at the second keyframe is how that video is going to look at that point in time. And whatever happens between those 2 keyframes is your animation. So to create a zoom, just create an intro and outro slide, please. Okay, so just any intro, just in general. Like, or a slide without, oops, what happened there? I took the opacity off. A slide without the speaker, like if it's just like a blank a blank canvas with some words on it. Is that what you're going for? If so, I just created a scene right at the very beginning. So if you put your mouse, the very first frame of the video, hit slash to create a scene. It creates an empty scene. And then you could put in whatever elements you want right here. So like, okay. And then, cheers, Christian. Thanks for joining. And then, yeah, you could put your title here. So you could say like topic, and then you could just like anything, move that around. So I think the important thing is that you just put the scene right at the very beginning, which defaults to creating a 5-second empty scene. And then from here, you can make it shorter or longer or whatever you want. You could put a background in there. I could go to media. I could put in something like that. And there it is. I could click on these 3 dots and I could say, where's the layer? In scene, I can adjust the layer order. So I could bring this all the way to the back. Actually, sorry, I'm gonna have to do it here. Layer order, so right click on it, layer order, send backward, and then that puts it behind the words, the title screen that I created. And I could put it anywhere I want. And then it looks like that. I could add some music to it. So everything is inside of scene 1. And I could just hit like a plus button to add it. Yeah, gotcha. Yeah, the scenes are a little tricky to wrap your head around. The way that Descript describes them, I've seen them described, is as slides in a PowerPoint, in the sense that, okay, coming from Camtasia. Yeah, I've only recently started using Camtasia a little bit. It's cool, and there's a lot of similarities, but there's also a lot of differences. And so yeah, Descript talks about scenes like slides in a PowerPoint. So if like scene 1 is our slide 1, whatever I do to it, like if I change, actually, I'm not going to use scene 1 as an example. I'm going to use scene 2. So if I do something to scene 2, like let's say I adjust the size of it, which I think I have an animation on it, so I'm not going to be able to do that. Let me get rid of that animation. And I make it bigger, like really big, like that. If I go into scene 3, it's going to be small again. Well, that scene was already big. Here, let me make this more dramatic. And it's being slow. Yeah, my pleasure. Yeah, that's I've seen a lot of people, it's not intuitive to do that you just add another scene right at the beginning. And this has been, okay, there it is. Okay, so there's scene 2. Oh, and I should say, the other thing to check is right under it where it says selected in current scene, it's only gonna select this scene that I'm in, scene 2. And then if I go to scene 3, it's normal size again. But if I set all scenes and then I change the size of this, it's going to change all scenes. And now I look at scene 3, scene 4, scene 5, and they're all huge like that. So that's a really important thing to look at is, are you making a change to just the current scene you're in or all scenes? And that is right there where it says selected in, as well as right here on the layer property, it's current scene or all scenes. And then it's not only the size, which would be the layout, the height and width, but it's also things like the opacity, the audio, the duration, how quickly it's playing, all that kind of stuff. And then back to the scene thing. So if you put your mouse right next to another scene on your transcript, which is the slash, and you add another scene, 2 scenes like touching like that creates a blank scene, which will just be black background and 5 seconds long. That's the default. And then you could put anything in there that you want from that point. You could record something, you could drop in some other files from your project files, or do whatever you want with it. But 2 scenes in a row create an empty scene. Hopefully that makes sense. What else? Any other questions? I did a little poll earlier on the channel asking for video. Oh, I'm looking at it now. I asked, what do people want to see more of? And 1 vote so far. The answer was quick tips. And the other questions were general content creation tips and strategies, templates, other tools beside Descript, or see results. So it seems like 1 person so far just wants to see quick tips, which I've been doing. I made, I think, a dozen or so videos that I just schedule for release every day, which is like a 1 minute to like 2 minute quick walkthrough of some feature in Descript. And maybe I should do one for the scenes. That brings up a good topic because I've seen a lot of people struggle with that. Anything else? Let me just change this back to how it was. If I go to layer, I go to layout, and then I can click and slide to make it smaller. The question is, I've been using the Underlord feature to remove errors, I'm assuming, and errors and ums, but also finding it's clipping the beginning of the words in the next sentence. So yeah, and to answer your next question, that would be awesome. Would love to do a tutoring session. I'm in the US time zone, so yeah, I know it can get a little tricky, but you can see my calendar. So it's on descriptmastery.com/tutoring. And then if you click on the 1 session, oh, sorry, I changed it. I'd actually forgotten about that. So I don't have it where you can see my calendar anymore, but if you're worried about the timing, I can send you my calendar directly and then you can see a time that'll work for both of us. Okay, the question was using the filler word removal and then it's clipping the beginning of the next word, the word in the next sentence. Yeah, that's super common. And when that happens, let me find, that video is already done. Let me think of one that I might be able to show you how to fix that. Basically, I would use the sound waves, the visual, I would look at it visually to figure out where to cut it. Let me look at this one. This one wasn't scripted. No. Maybe I can just do this. This isn't a true filler word, but you'll get the idea. So, and then let's say I cut out the word and. Well, here, let me explain what I'm doing. So I'm gonna click on the word then and drag it over the word and to get rid of it. And then you'll select, and that's even too much. Let me cut off the word then. And you'll select what. So right there, it's starting with like the last of then. It's like then you'll select whether they can edit. So what I do, and this comes with experience, but look at the sound wave. I can see that it's like abruptly cut off right there. So what I can do is click it and I get that bracket right there and just restore it until I see that sound wave taper off. And then that's going to be more of a natural width. And then you'll like that. This is an example, and is a filler word. That's an example of one that I probably wouldn't cut off. Like you'd probably, if filler word removal cut that out, you'd probably want to restore that because it's going to be too tight with the next word. And then you'll select. So it's like, and then you'll select. So yeah, I would just restore it until you see that sound wave taper off. And ultimately, it's what sounds good. If you can make it sound good without that filler word in there, then go for it. But that's kind of how I would think about it, is just play around with restoring it and taking away until you get it to sound how you want. And there's other things you can do, like you could do regenerate. You could click on a word, and if your mic cut out for a second right there, you could do replace and regenerate, which will use AI to go over it. It was giving me a speech or a warning that it's going to take out my video there. Yeah, and so in the chat, finds filler word removal can be a bit severe. And especially if you talk fast, like if your words are close together, you're going to run into that issue a lot more. If you talk slow and your words are very spaced out, it'll probably work great for you. And there's currently no way to set the how tight the filler word gets rid of in milliseconds. I think I know that's a feature request. I don't know if the Descript team is working on that, where you could say, make it only get rid of a filler word if there's a 1 millisecond pause after the word, that type of thing. In the chat, send a link to my calendar through the contact form. Yeah, sure. Let me pull up your thing. I won't do it on I'm just going to pull it up for when I'm done live streaming. I got your channel pulled up and go into your site. Cool. Yeah, so I can do that. I'll send my calendar after. Anything else you're wondering about? Let me see how that regenerate sounds. And then you'll select whether they can. So it sounds not bad, but it does take out the video, so that's a problem. With regenerate, the reason that doesn't work there is this is getting into more advanced, but there's this edit sequence here. And this is when you have multiple layers inside of like a single container. So if this wasn't in a sequence, if it was just a plain video with one layer, then it wouldn't have taken my video out. But since it's a sequence, it can't replace both layers of video, and so it just goes to black. And that's why I got that warning sign. So yeah. Anything else? Yeah, I saw that on your channel, the Knack developer. I'm not familiar with Knack. Knack. I'm looking at your channel. Very cool. And what does Knack do? Is that the software or is that a developing language? Is it simplify the complex? Gotcha. Okay. See, a couple more people jumped on and then jumped off. This isn't the most exciting live stream, but if there's anything else you want me to cover, I could talk about the AI speaker real quick. So to train your AI speaker, if you haven't already done this, you can go to new speaker and then give it a name. And then you have to read this prompt here, this little script. It only takes about 25 to 30 seconds. And you hit record, and then once you hit stop record, it'll start the training process for the AI, and only takes a few seconds. And then from then on, it'll be in here and you can use it in any of your projects. So you can go to like something like this, and then you can label it as one of your AI speakers if it's text. So let me just create some random text in here. I'll go into write mode, and I'm gonna write down here and say, hello world. Hit done writing. And then if I label this project by clicking on this speaker name, it's called, and it's at the very top, I'll click on, I have two. I recommend recording one for each different type of microphone you use or each different recording environment you use, and then match them up. So if I recorded this video in my home office with this microphone, that's the exact AI voice that I want to use to replicate the ambient sound and the same conditions. So I'll go ahead and click on that. And then as soon as I do that, and this part in black is my actual voice, that's the actual video I recorded, so it's black. But down here where it's pulsing, that's the words that I wrote in myself in write mode. And so when it's processing, it's letting me know that it's loading, it's turning that into my AI voice, and it's already done. It's only 2 words, so it's super short, but it sounds like this. Hello world. I don't know if you can hear that through the live stream, but that is in fact my AI voice. And when I've just created it like that, it's gonna appear dark blue on the transcript. And then down here, you'll notice my actual video is gray with black sound waves. And then the AI voice, the part where I said hello world, is white background with black sound waves. In this case, I could change the color of it if I wanted, but it's kind of in draft mode. I can't change these words. I can't drag them around like I could over here. You see how I can drag that around? So when this is in draft mode, I can't move these. I can't get the bracket right there to change the length of that clip until I click convert to audio. And now I can shorten it. I can grab words, move it around, just like I could editing any other audio. And in the chat, I found you have to do the AI speaker in a few different versions. Otherwise, it can come out a bit flat. I've one upbeat. Yeah. So in the chat saying that recording in different tones and things like that, absolutely. You're training it. So whatever you train it is how it's going to end up. If you're super animated, like over the top, crazy voice, things like that, that's how your AI speaker is going to end up, because that's the data it has to go off of. If you've got one that is super flat and monotone, it's going to end up like that. And so I recommend be a bit exaggerated, like try to read at your natural pace, natural intonations, but be just a little bit more animated than usual. That way you can train it on that particular style. And then, I know people who make videos like sometimes they make videos in their office, sometimes they make videos at home, sometimes they make videos in public at the coffee shop or whatever. So create an AI speaker for each one of those. Have Ross, Starbucks, Ross, airplane, Ross, home office, and then each of those will have a different ambient sound to it, things like that. And then same with the microphone. Like I have, this one's called Pod Mic, which is this microphone right here, so that I know that if my project is created with the Pod Mic, I'm gonna use this for my AI speaker. So yeah, the AI speaker is pretty cool. And the regenerate, if there's like one word or like one phrase that's dropped, then the alternative to overdubbing that is to use regenerate, which will just restore that particular word or phrase. And you don't have to have an AI speaker trained to do that. So if you have a podcast guest and you just want to fix up a couple words that they said, regenerate is great for that. And personally, I very, very rarely use regenerate. I just find that it's not good. And most of my stuff is in sequences, which I already showed you. It doesn't work when it's in sequences. Regenerate doesn't. So yeah, saying that your first recording was super flat and monotone. Yeah, so it helps to like just be a little bit more animated than you otherwise might be. Yeah. Appreciate all the questions today. I've covered, there's been some weeks where I have nobody here and some weeks where I have a bunch of questions throughout. So I'm glad we had a few people join today. I'm not in the US. I'm in US time zone. I'm in Mexico City. My wife is in veterinarian school here. So my time zone is Mountain Time, US Mountain Time, which would be like Denver. So yeah. I usually say Pacific Time because I'm from the West Coast though. So yeah. What else? I'm trying to think of other cool stuff I could show you. So under audio effects, if you haven't played around with this, there's Studio Sound, which is here by default. It's always showing, and you can just toggle it on and off. Studio Sound is amazing. And then the only thing you can do with Studio Sound is change the intensity from 0 to 100%. That's the only setting you get with it. Yeah, I do these weekly, every Friday at 12:30 Pacific time. So yeah, try to go for an hour and answer whatever questions people have. Oh, awesome. That's amazing. And you're in the UK, you said? I know the UK vet schools has some of the best in the world because my wife was looking at that. Like what is it? The Royal College? I think I'm out of my element here. Cambridge or Oxford, one of those elite schools. But let's see. Yeah, so I was talking about Studio Sound. And then I often also apply under Dynamics the compressor. And then if you hit these effects, you can go to default, and then classic voiceover is one of the presets that does a great job. These other ones I don't use, to be honest. But the other thing with Studio Sound is I often use another tool called Auphonic. And Auphonic is, I think it's A-U-F-O-N-I-C. Oh yeah, this one. A-U-P-H-O-N-I-C, and it's free. And this is basically like a tool that is just Studio Sound. It's just a dedicated audio enhancer. And so it does a better job than Studio Sound because it can do, oh, awesome. Thanks for joining from west of London. And I'm just killing time by talking about these other things here. But let me know if this is interesting or if you have any other last minute questions. So yeah, you can just drag your audio or video files in here and it'll basically run it through a Studio Sound type of thing. And then you can do, the thing that makes this better than Studio Sound is you can do, let's see if they show it here. Maybe under noise and reverb. You can basically run it through Studio Sound while keeping in things like background music, With Studio Sound, you can't do that. It's just yes or no, 0 to 100%. With Alphonic, you can specify to keep in certain things, or like they have one tool that'll get rid of breathing. So if your guest or you like takes in breaths a lot throughout your thing, then you can get rid of that with Alphonic. Super handy tool. And it's free. You can do 2 hours of content, run it through their system per month. Gotcha, yeah, local vet, not elite. But still, I mean, I think the English-speaking countries have a whole nother level of veterinarian than outside of that. You know, it's like there's just the love of animals and in the West in general, I should say, is like a whole nother level. And so US, UK, Canada, Australia, it's crazy. Okay. So under Underlord, you're talking about the highlight reel, creating the highlight reel. And are you creating content like tutorials and stuff? Is that what you're creating for? Let's see what else we got. The translate captions, by the way, I talked about this briefly. You can, my video is obviously currently in English. I could click on Dutch. I could hit submit, and it's super, super, super fast. And it takes chunks of it. So it took like the first 22 seconds, turned it into Dutch, like so, and it won't play it. It won't change the audio to Dutch. Like if I click play. To share access to a project, it's still in English, but this is useful for transcription. I could change my captions to another language. I could publish a blog in a different language using this capability. And once you do that, you can see this button appears where you can then switch between the languages you've translated it to, and then you could export it. Oops, click on the 3 dots, export. I could delete it, copy a link to it. Also, when I go to publish, it's here. So there's Dutch, or any other languages that I'd transcribed to would be there. And then where that comes into play is if you go to export and transcript, you could export another language into one of these different types of docs: HTML, Markdown, .doc, plain text, rich text, etc. So pretty cool technology. Yeah, that'd be great. Would love to connect on a tutoring call. I'm doing a special right now for the rest of the month, which is 2 more days, where if you buy the 3-call package, you get a 4th one for free. So if that's of interest, would love to connect on that, or maybe you just need 1 session, whatever you need. And I will send you the link to my calendar after this call. So I appreciate you joining. You were the most active speaker, CH Project Support. Appreciate it. Appreciate the questions. And I hope we can connect soon in a tutoring call. And to everyone else that joined, thank you. And I'll be back next week for another live stream.